Hi, I'm Doug, your tech support representative here at Atlantic British, and in this video we're going to touch on one of our service and maintenance kits we have available for the Discovery 1, which is going to be replacement brake hoses for front and rear, and this is something that's recommended be done on your vehicle every 105,000 miles. And this is going to be our kit ABP 214SKA, and what you get in this kit are the 4 hoses, 2 front and 2 rear. These will be your front, these 2 will be your rears, along with 2 new sealing washers and 2 new nuts to hold it in place. Now, it's recommended you change these over every 105,000 because the original hoses are rubber. Just like belts and your coolant hoses, they do wear. After a while they get brittle, they crack. The replacements that you'll notice are considerably smaller in diameter outside than the original equipment. Original equipment being a rubber hose. Here you have a steel braided hose, which is much more resistant to the abrasives that they're subject to underneath that vehicle. You figure every time you drive in the rain or a dirt road or whatever, those hoses are exposed to all of those elements. So you'll find that the braided steel is a much more reliable design. These are manufactured here by us and are designed to fit that vehicle perfectly. You also get 2 bottles of brake fluid, which you may think is a little bit much, but we recommend if you're going to do the hoses, do a brake flush at the same time. You're going to be basically having to bleed the system anyway, so run the extra fluid through there, get nice clean brake fluid. You'd be amazed at how much better your brake feel is when you have fresh fluid in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a D1 up in the air, we're going to have the wheels pulled off, we're going to show you the locations of these hoses. So we're going to start at the front of the vehicle and we're going to show you basically the location of the hose and a basics idea as far as what you need to do to remove and reinstall. First off, obviously, this hose has been here for quite some time, and you have a fitting on the feed line coming out of the vehicle into the hose, and then you're going to have a similar fitting on the other end. Obviously, the first thing to do, soak them up with some penetrating oil, let them sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. You might even take a small tap hammer or whatnot and just tap on the nut a few times just to break the corrosion loose. In most cases, that's about all you'll need, and they should come off. So this is your replacement hose, and as I noted, you'll see a big difference in the diameter and the size of the hose. Again, this is a rubber-based hose where you have braided steel in this, which is a more reliable setup. Now you're going to have the big end is obviously going to be down by the brake rotor, and the small end up at this upper fitting. Now you have a clip right here, and you can actually see the facing of the clip, and it's nothing more than a U-shaped clip, more of a spring clip. You can grab both sides of this with a pair of pliers, either water pumps or a slip joint, wiggle back and forth, that'll come right out. You'll do the same with this. I usually suggest leave the clip in until after you take the nuts off your fittings, and then take your clips out, and essentially the hose is out in your hand. Now, one thing I want to mention, that on your calipers you have a bleeder line or a cap on the top of both calipers, your bleeder here. Before you even crack the lines open or open up a brake system, always make sure that your bleeders open up. You don't want to be putting hoses on and then find out that the bleeders are frozen solid in the calipers. You work on getting those loose first before you even get into the brakes. That'll cover the fronts. Again, it's just a matter of 2 bolts or 2 nuts, 2 clips, install the hose. Same thing for the other side. So now we're going to take you to the rears. Alright, the rears are pretty well simple, same as the fronts. Obviously, first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the bleeders on the calipers to make sure that they open and you're going to be able to bleed this part of the system out. Now, something I want to note about the rear hoses. When you first pull the caps off, you will notice that one end has sort of a male bald end, the other side female. And this is going to affect your installation. The male end is going to screw into the divider block that's mounted on top of the axle. The female end is going to go up top where you have your fitting and your line attaches to the hose. Reason being is at the end of the line that has a male, what they call a ball type or European style fitting. So that's going to mate with the female that's on this end of the hose, and then on the lower end of the block this is going to mate to a female receptacle or receiver inside this divider block. Now, when you go to install, and you'll notice you have to do the same when you take it off, you're going to unbolt the top fitting first. Soak that with penetrating oil, let it sit for a little bit, back the nuts off. Again, it's got the clips on it like you had in the front, so they're going to slide off with either a pair of water pump pliers or a set of slip joints. Once you've got the front disconnected, then you're just simply going to crack the bottoms loose with a wrench and spin them out. They simply unthread. Okay, so again, just as a note, your long threaded male end is going to go into the valve block right on top of the rear axle. Female short is going to be up top and connected to your brake lines. Both hoses are installed and connected the exact same way, and they're the same length, the same fitting, so you can't get them backwards. Either hose will fit either side. Now once you're all done and your hoses are in, you're tight, you know all your bleeders open, you're going to get a friend or an assistant. You're going to fill the master cylinder with brake fluid, have them slowly pump the pedal. You start bleeding from the right rear or the point furthest from the master cylinder, and then slowly work your way towards the master. Right rear, right front, left front. They just need to pump the pedal solid. You probably won't need more than 2 or 3 times on each wheel to have all the air out of them. And it'll also give you a better brake feel on the pedal. You'd be amazed at just the changing in the brake fluid, what that can do for a brake system. So when you're ready to change over the hoses and give your vehicle a good brake fluid flush, you can contact any of our knowledgeable salesmen, 1-800-533-2210. And thanks for watching.